Good morning, guys. It's about 6:30. I have class at 8, but here to get in a session before class at, I'm starting to even stop introducing it because every time I'm at the wall. Beautiful sunrise in the background. Just gonna get some touches, and it's a very minimalistic session. You don't need much for the session. I have some futsal trainers instead of boots. I'll just lay it all down and I'll show you guys. I have a small ball, and then I have a tennis ball, and most of the stuff, honestly, is extremely optional. So I have shoes, some cones, which I might not use, I might use, and even if I did use them, you do not have to if you want to imitate this session. And on top of that, like, super optional, not necessarily, you don't need it, you know what I'm saying? A tennis ball, and then I have a small skills ball just to get some extra touches on a smaller ball, get some focused reps in, and just increase the precision I have with all of my touches. And so if you really don't have, if you don't want to do all that, all you need is the cleat, the shoes, and a ball. And yeah, my rule of thumb when building whatever session I have planned for any given day is the things that I need at the very least are something or someone to pass to, and something to pass with, which is going to be a ball. And then the next most important things are going to be a net, depending if you're doing finishing or not, and obviously the space to have the session. But yeah, to get a good session in, you don't need much at all. So if you come, even on days where you're unprepared, as long as you have a few simple things, it's okay. And you don't need futsal trainers, running shoes, whatever you have, barefoot, all right, I'm getting distracted, but it's all good enough for you to continue to improve. And so no matter what the circumstances are, you can always find a way. Just a bit of an afterthought for you guys, but I'm going to put this in before the session just so you guys are able to hear this before you watch the video. But pay attention to the fact that it's not this many sets of this many reps, or 5 left foot, 5 right foot, or anything like that. Because what I find important is not necessarily how many times you do it, but how you do it. Because, hold on, sorry, let me screw my camera in. My phone, really. But the quality is always going to be greater than the quantity. If you do 5 sets of 5 reps and they're all terrible, do you really improve? Rather than you doing X amount of time at a high level of intensity and only really counting the reps that you did at a high quality. Because, at the end of the day, what's going to set some people apart, and this is a common theme in all my videos, is setting yourself apart. Because there's 8 billion people out here. Probably 2 million of them are trying to do the exact same thing that you're doing. There's a million brand toilet paper. But what sets you apart? And what's going to, increase separation between you and your competitors over a long period of time is the fact that some people are going to do X amount of reps, or they're going to do something until they do it right and then be like, all right, I did it right, I know how to do it, and keep moving. But some people are going to do it until they can't get it wrong. So it's really just about repetition and focus through each one of those reps. And as I'm getting in the rest of my session after the fact of filming whatever I film for you guys, as I'm getting my session, that's what I'm focusing on, and that's how I'm working on improving what I'm doing.
So we're just going to start with a pretty simple and basic warm-up. I don't normally do a dynamic warm-up when I'm doing these kinds of sessions, just because it's not a very physically demanding session in terms of running, jumping, no contact, none of that. So I do a couple leg swings, some open the gates, a little bit of a jog just to get the blood flowing, and then the majority of my warm-up is going to be just slower passing along the wall. And then here you can see there's a little bit of a weirder surface that I'm passing against, because these green plastic boards aren't all nailed perfectly down to the wall. And so on the right side, towards the fence on the right where I just was before, the ball wasn't bouncing well enough, and it kept not coming back quickly. So I just moved to this side to have a little bit more responsiveness, and you can see it's just a lot cleaner. And just keep progressing that one touch, just to really get the blood flowing, get the feel of the ball, get all the sleep out of your legs. Since it's kind of an early morning session, it's really easy to be more lethargic in these sessions. So I spend a good amount of time warming up my feet on the ball so that I'm accustomed to it again after sleeping and doing whatever I do for the rest of the day between then and playing soccer last or playing football last. And so for this second bit, it's just a little bit more faster paced, more developed, just building on the first one, starting with some of these 2-touch passes here, different kind of touches, outside the foot, across the body, inside the foot. You know, when you mess up, just keep flowing, making sure it's a steady pace of the game. 2 touches here, 2 touches here, and then soon you'll see I'll start to take the ball, turn, get a cut back, sort of, not fully game speed quite yet, just still working on moving the ball with your feet and progressing into whatever's going to be next, and just really controlling the ball, making sure the ball's doing what we want it to do, making sure that we're comfortable, confident on the ball, and just moving a lot with the ball, getting a lot of touches, getting a million touches here, and just being a little bit more creative, a little more free-flowing, doing what we like.
More free-flowing, a little bit more game-realistic, just continuing to get those touches, ramp up the intensity, increase your ability to play with the ball. Game. Go a couple up in the air, control it, play, flip it up in the air, flatten the pass, flip it up in the air, bring it down, turn with it. After
and so for this next portion, I'm just going to let the audio ride out a little bit, but basically just one-touch passing with a bounce, and then keeping it around or at that white line, just have the right height, making sure if ever it comes higher or lower, you step in or you step away to adjust these different surfaces of the foot, just really working on popping the ball up and being clean with every one of those touches.
Obviously, it's going to be exactly smack dab on the line every time. But if you keep it on the line, you should bounce back, decent height, decent pace. If it comes a little bit high, you back up and readjust. Just getting these touches here, really enjoy it. I love this stuff, man. Doing stuff like this, but just really getting to connect with the ball, you know? Because if you want to be pro, if you want to play in the Champions League and the World Cup, this ball better be your best friend. And you better have almost superhuman control here. That's what I'm trying to get. You know what I'm saying? Being able to play with multiple surfaces and just get what you need to get done. After this, we're going to progress it a little bit and a little bit further towards the rest of the session. All right.
Now just transitioning into the same sort of concept, one-touch work, up with the ball in the air this time, not letting it bounce. As you can see, I let it drop the first time. I had to refocus a little bit and started going with a better rhythm. Just bouncing it, popping it off the wall. I personally like to stay closer to the wall because I feel like it helps me move my feet a little bit quicker, because that's one of the weaknesses I'm trying to hone, is just having just more agility and quick feet and tight spaces and stuff. And so I think that's been helping me. And as you can see, when the ball bounces, there's no time in between the next set. The ball bounces and it's immediately back up in the air. And so what I think that helps is that you're just building a rhythm. You're not letting it bounce, break your rhythm. Keeping a short memory. You'll hear me say it later on the clip, but a short memory, because why would I worry about the ball that just bounced when the ball's already back up in the air, and now I have to focus on keeping it up again. Forget about each individual mistake as you continue to just build on that one touch, the next one, the next one, the next one.
Each one for 5, 7, 10 minutes, depending on how long my session's going to be. But for the video's sake, we're moving along a little bit quicker. I'm going to go back and do them all properly. But I'm just trying to show you guys here.
Now for just a little bit of two-touch work, same kind of concept, just ball juggling, and keeping the ball up, controlling it, making sure the ball is doing what we want to do with it. You hear in the original audio if you listen closely, just controlling it now, forgetting about all the mistakes and stuff. Sometimes I'm trying to play specific parts of the feet as you choose, so that you have the ability to adapt on the fly. And always remember, like I said earlier, the ball is doing what you want it to do. You dictate the game. Playing with different surfaces, doing little challenging touches, passing it higher or lower to challenge yourself, and just working on that control, that feel, your body shape as you receive it, and even the small details start to hone themselves, even if you're not thinking about it when you're doing this kind of exercise. That's as unpredictable as this. Because if you want to get to a high level, this control of the ball is something that you need to be able to do like second nature.
That's a level of control that you're trying to build up. Now it's not perfect, but you know, gotta get it done. One day, I'll be able to literally do this in my sleep. Literally in my sleep. And now, obviously, we're still working up to it. But, and I'm talking to you guys while I'm doing this, so it's not like full focus, full concentration. But one day it'll be second nature to control the ball.
As you'll start to notice, all of these concepts not
For
only
the next
apply
one.
to the prior exercises, but they'll also apply to actions and touches you'll take in the game. So this one is pretty much the same as the two touches and the freestyle passing and turning, just a little bit further, a little bit more higher intensity, higher speed with each action. And it's one of my favorite activities to do at this wall. I could probably do it for hours, just on its own without the juggling or anything like that. And so just popping up every once in a while, controlling it, plucking it out the air, playing different surfaces, passing and turning. And then the fence in the back has like these sections, so I like to pass to the corners of that fence as if it's playing into the corners of the net. Just a realistic kind of action and product kind of thing. Quick little turns, passes, finishes, outside the foot, inside the foot, Cruyff, things like that. Whenever it comes up, see how it just flat ended there. And just being able to control the ball, play with good speed, play creatively. Sometimes I'll slow it down to work on a specific thing, but most of the time it's just a free-flowing kind of activity for this one.
Let me bring it over here more for you guys. Finally pass. Getting off your man, you're receiving, be able to move. Tuck it out. Be able to turn on one touch. Touch. Control. Go to you right. Yeah, that's the one. So, able to just play as smooth and as clean as possible. Working on controlling it, working on turning, working on passing, working on receiving the ball in motion. Like this. It's a more difficult touch than it seems because you're running towards the ball's coming towards you. That creates a whole another level of force and speed of play. You're coming in towards, you know what I'm saying? So that's the last one with this big ball that we're going to do for today. But I'll show you one more I like to do before games.
And so this activity is just a demonstration of something I like to do before games because I feel like it helps me get a good feel of the ball, somewhat realistic, a little bit creative in the way that you're receiving the ball, opening your hips, changing your body shape, deceiving defenders and stuff. And again, you don't need the cones for this, but I like to have them as a guideline. So I just set them up in this little triangle pattern. And basically what we're going to do is pass the ball along the two vertical cones and then take your touch past the horizontal cones, either with the inside your foot, the outside of your foot, the ball come back, you go across, you bring it back across. And this is just a way that I like to get a lot of touches on the ball before games particularly, because it's also quite low intensity. We're not saying low intensity, but it's low impact because it's a very small distance to cover for each individual touch. So I just really love this exercise. Just wanted to show you guys the one that I do before games, but this is not a part of today's session. Just something I like to do every once in a while before games, and just to keep sharp. And so after this, we're just gonna move to the small ball, the skills ball, size 1 ball, and we're just popping it up for a couple juggles, and then we're gonna start wall juggling with it because this is what challenges me. And so everyone's gonna be at a different level, so every different thing's gonna challenge them. Some folks might still just need to do juggling like 5 in a row with this ball. Some folks might need to use a tennis ball to wall juggle. We'll also move the tennis ball in the session, but at a certain point, once you start getting 1 to 3 or 400 in a row consistently, every time you're training with this smaller ball, that's when I decided to start going to the wall with this small ball, because that's what challenged me, and that is what allowed me to feel like I was getting a lot more value in the same amount of time that I would spend doing a million juggles that are just plain juggles, like popping the ball back up to yourself and stuff. Because this wall adds a lot of predictability, just adds a randomness to it that allows you to learn how to adapt, and it makes you improve your kind of sixth sense and instinct for receiving and controlling the ball. And then now we're going to move on to the tennis ball, which is even more of a challenge for me. I think my high score of the tennis ball, I think 50 or 75, somewhere in that range, 50 to 75 in a row. And I can do it every session, but it's not consistently, like every day I could get 50, 75 on a given set of tennis ball juggles, but this is an enormous challenge for me. And I think that even the little work that I've done with this tennis ball has increased my ability to control the ball, my precision with controlling the ball, but it's just about popping it up. With this tennis ball, it's much more live, much more active than a regular ball. And so if it spins a tiny little bit, it will probably go across the entire court. And so it's just all about precision, especially focus here. Focus and concentration on your breathing, your patience, waiting for the ball to get to the spot that you want to flick it back up at, blocking your ankle, hitting it on the right part of your foot. It's just everything is turned on at this point.
High-level skill, but pros can do this in their sleep. And so remember to always hold yourself to the highest possible standard all the training. Of course, you're not going to be able to see yourself at that same level every time, because obviously I'm not a pro yet. But if I hold myself to the level of the pros, I expect myself to be able to do these things. I'm naturally going to work at them until I am. On it. And I know this video has a lot of me walking around and fetching balls, but I'm gonna get to finishing my own session. But thank you for watching, guys. Remember, always climb a mountain. Keep climbing that mountain, even when it gets steep, even when it gets cold, even when it gets lonely. But yeah, have a great day, guys.